Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people, fellow humans, which we spell Huemonds, colorful nuts. Good morning to you. Today is Friday, the 4th of April, 2025. Time is just flying by. It's already the almost, well, 1/6 of the month is over. Is that right? 1/7 of the month is over. Okay, cool. Well, here we are at Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help you, our student, on your journey through this life. Good morning, Wat Not a Bevy. How are things in Fort Jacks? So we're here to help you on this journey through this life, based upon the belief that we have a soul that continues after death, number one, and that how we are here has an impact on what happens next. Our behavior, the future is a function of our behavior. Future, function of now. What happens next is a function of what happens now. Next equals function now. So we're here to help provide the tools and instruction on how to use the tools to make the most of this life. And we do it in 4 areas. Physical, which is fitness and health. Mental, always be learning, become autodidactic. Number 3 is emotional. If you can't control your emotions, don't worry, someone else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. And number 4, spiritual. That is preparing for what happens next, based upon the belief that Jesus is who he said he was, God as man, fully God as man, and that the resurrection was real. So if God as man came down, and the proof of that was the resurrection, and the proof of the resurrection is not only what's in the Bible, but external things, facts that happened, and other things like the physical evidence, like the Shroud of Turin, like near-death experiences or real experiences after death, the things that we're finding now as science is getting better. That is the evidence that we have a transcendent soul, and the message or the results of Christianity is the evidence of Jesus is God as man, taking those things together, combined to say, if we do what Jesus said, we will get what Jesus said, which is, if you love me, you'll follow my commandments. And if you follow my commandments, you will become one with the Father and I. And many people will say, Lord, Lord, we did all of this stuff in your name. And I will say, I did not know you, because you did not feed the hungry, help the thirsty, the sick, the unclothed, the unhoused, and those that were incarcerated. You didn't help those. You didn't do anything with those people. You didn't love one another as I loved you. You were selfish. You were the Pharisee praying, look how special I am, Lord. I've done all of these things that you've asked, but what I don't have is love. I don't have love. I have acts, but I don't have love. I've been more concerned about my salvation than helping others. I did one of the 3 commandments, love God with all my heart and mind and soul, but I didn't love one another, and I didn't make disciples. I just cared about me. Okay, so that's why we're here. Okay, so what not a bevy, you're blessed beyond belief. Why is that? Why are you blessed beyond belief? Is it bow leaf? Bowl leaf? Bull leaf? Bee leaf? Be a leaf. Go with the wind. Be leaf. Okay, So, what's on our hit parade today? What's the topic? Mindset. Mindset doesn't matter. So, in law school, you'd start with, what do you mean by mindset? Jordan Peterson might start with, well, what do you mean by mindset? How can I answer? Doesn't matter if I don't know what you mean. And Aaliyah Crum, one of the Carol Dweck Stanford people, Angela Duckworth, Kelly McGonigal, the fearsome foursome, and the others that are or were at Stanford working on this idea of how powerful is the brain, growth mindset. We're going to hear from Aaliyah Crum. But before, good morning, Matticus von Atticus. Oh, good. Anxious to hear about how it was with Ed. Are you available for a call after this podcast? Okay, so advice from an 80-year-old. Own a great stereo system. Why? Because music calms the soul. Music invigorates. Music gives meaning to life. And cut. Okay, Seth Godin. What does Seth have to tell us today? Seth's blog is called We Can Agree About Schismogenesis. Schism would be a separation between two things, the space between two things, or the spreading apart of ideas or things. Schismogenesis, the start of it. Anthropologist Gary Bateson highlighted that often culture is based on oppositional behavior, right? And it can spiral. They say up, and the easy thing to say is down. Literally, the creation of division. Your competitor launches a product, and you work to undermine it with a different approach. Find small gaps and amplify them. There goes the schism. Schismogenesis is based on perceptions of scarcity and is amplified by the simplicity of not having to think very hard about our next step. A little gap turns into a large one, which becomes our identity. It's really useful for teenagers. Right, I want to be different. I want to be independent. This is what everyone else is doing. I want to be different. But it might be worth outgrowing the narcissism of small differences at tribal level. The alternative to schismogenesis, which would be the creation of schisms, the I need to be different, the alternative is the hard work of creating a movement. Instead of I want to be different, we need to be different. Showing up to do work that matters for people who care. When you know where we are going, when we know where we are going, we don't have to focus on what others are doing to figure out what we should do next. It pays to ask, what kind of people are we? What kind of people are we? Instead of letting our opponents decide for us, right? They're bad. Okay, good one. We are not worthy, Seth Godin. Okay, back to that. Ba-boom, bum, boom. Okay, so what not a bevy? Are you available for a call after this? All righty then. Whoops, I think I saw a note pop up. The answer was yes. Okay, so let's talk about Aaliyah Crum. Let's talk about mindset. What is it? So she would say, I think she starts by saying it's a setting of the mind. Mindset, setting of mind. Okay, helpful? Not really. But then she breaks it down. So it's about the way we see the world. And the bottom line point would be, I think, that how we see the world shapes around how we see it. versus vice versa. So Jordan Peterson says the same thing. You have an idea, where do you want to be 3 years from now? You put a lot of pieces together about that so you can envision it kind of like a mental dream, what do they call it, vision board. You have one of those, you see it, you think about it, and it will pull you towards itself. Reality will shape around that idea, which for Eliacrum is a mindset. So what you believe is how you see the world. And Eliacrum talks about 4 experiments that were in there where people's beliefs shaped the outcome of experiments they were doing. First one had to do with people who had very invasive surgery where the rib cage was removed or something like that. And when recovery, people were separated into 2 groups. One group, and this might have just been how it was and something they observed. One group was given pain medication. They push a button and they're given, the nurse comes in and gives them some sedative. The other one, there's a machine that does it. And what you would expect is the machine would do a better job. But what they found was the opposite, that because the people could see the nurse injecting the thing, they felt better versus the machine. And they checked many things. Was the machine working? Was the medication the same? Was this, that? And it just came to the mindset. People believed a thing and their reality shaped around that thing. It's going, okay, well, let's do some other experiments. So they took some hotel cleaning lady people, room cleaners, and a big group, like 70 people, divided them into 2, took measurements, health measurements on them, basic measurements. And one group, they said, okay, go back to work. We just wanted to see how you're doing. We'll come back in a month or so. The other group, they gave a lecture about the value, the importance of physical exercise to general health and well-being. It will reduce stress and do a bunch of things. And then they put a poster up on the wall. They came back, and the people, the maids who were in the group that got the presentation, their vital statistics improved. Even though they weren't told to do anything, they were just told that exercise is better. So maybe Eliacrum says, maybe they're putting more oomph into the vacuuming. Who knows? Didn't know, but they did know after the presentation, people's health improved. Next study, Yale, a product called SensaShake. Could have been the guys in the business school created a product called SensaShake to combat the freshman 15. And the idea was, here's a low-fat, low-sugar shake that you can drink and not have to worry about it. And they did a focus group and they brought people in. They said, and one last thing, we just want to get a blood sample so we can just measure, whatever, make sure everything's cool with you. And we'll give you $75, just evaluate the shake. So people did, they got the statistics, and then they had the people come back a couple weeks later and say, well, we need to compare it to the Decadent Delight, this really high fat, high sugar, whatever content shake, to see which you like better. Because what we got is you liked it, but compared to what? To compare SensaShake to Decadent Delight, and then people were told, thank you. What was really going on was they were measuring the ghrelin in people's blood. Ghrelin is a hormone that goes down or up based upon how hungry you are. So when you are hungry, your ghrelin goes up. When you eat, it goes down. And apparently, the rate at which it goes up or down is dependent upon what you eat. So if you eat celery, the ghrelin will go down less than if you eat a baked potato with sour cream, onions, butter, etc., or steak. So they measured the ghrelin, and what they found is in the sense of shake, the ghrelin went down. And in the decadent delight, the ghrelin went down even more. What they didn't tell the people, though, is that it was the same. They didn't change the shake. The shake was the same shake. Sense of shake and decadent delight were the same thing. It's what people believed. And furthermore, it wasn't the shake, wasn't the sense of shake. It wasn't the decadent delight. It was one that was in between. So based upon what you had, the ghrelin went down less than it should have compared to what it actually was, or more than it should have compared to what it actually was, based upon people's mindsets. And then finally, Eliacrum talks about stress. And what they did is they created a video with a music soundtrack, and they got two groups of people. Both of them watched the video with the soundtrack. But what they did is in one group, they overlaid text that was positive message regarding stress, why stress is good, helps you perform better, et cetera, et cetera. One group saw the same video, same audio, but the message on the screen was stress is good, stress is natural, don't worry about stress. And the other group of people, the text on the screen was all that stress was bad. And then they remeasured the people. So before that, they took indications for where people were. They divided the group. This group watched that video. This group watched this video. The videos are the same except the words on the screen. And what they found is what they expected to find. The people who thought of stress as good, their vital statistics got better. The people who thought that stress was bad, their vital statistics, their performance at work got worse. Mindset. And in the end, Eliacrum said the placebo effect is real. It's strong. We don't know how strong it is, but it's real. So how can we use that? What's our point? What is the point that we would have regarding mindset? Create the best mindset. To help answer the questions, who am I and why do I behave the way I do? And I behave the way I do based upon my beliefs. On Wednesday, we saw Mark Dawes talking about our self-identity is made up of our self-beliefs. So if we think we suck, we do. If we think we're great, we will do things to act like somebody who's great, and then which includes learning, fitness, health, etc., emotions of people who think they're great. And we will thus become someone who thinks that. Okay, so we're 18 minutes in. I would say it's Friday, everyone. We've got some time to make things happen. This is, we've got a lot of studying. Class on Monday. I probably have to do a video for Nan Monday. CHW class, a lot of things happening, going to Vegas today. And with that, I will say Auf Wiedersehen, hasta la vista, baby, and cut.